Hey guys, I hope you all are doing well today. I tried to film this down in the garden, but my camera actually overheated and turned off on me in the middle of filming. And so it's just sweltering here today. It is beyond humid. We have a lot going on in the garden, a lot coming in right now. But this morning I got up, I started with my morning chores, and I got cut a little short on those. So I just wanted to share with y'all what happened today. So this kind of started about a week ago. Nate said that he was going to go walk the property, which he normally does. He has a lot of cameras on the property lines and things, and he wanted to make sure that everything was intact and working well. So anyways, he went to do that. And some time passed, and he was gone a pretty long time. So I called him and I said, hey, where are you? And he said, I'm down at the back property line. And I said, oh, well, what are you doing? And he said, they have taken everything out here. And what ended up happening was behind us, there's 100 acres, and a developer had purchased that. Now, we had known that the developer had purchased it, but it had just kind of sat there for a while, and, over time, you kind of forget about things, and nothing was happening, and so, we didn't think anything of it, and it kind of slipped our mind. Well, anyways, over the past couple of weeks, every morning when I come out, I am hearing huge machinery. I'm hearing massive trees fall. It's actually pretty disheartening and kind of makes my stomach sink when I hear it. But, I tried to explain to Nate that, hey, look, we don't own that property. There's nothing that we can do. The developer has purchased it. And so, let's just be thankful that we have a good amount of trees between us and that property. So anyways, today as I was doing my morning chores, Vinny came running up to me and he said, hey, Mom, I was just down at the property line getting the goats some branches, and he said they took down our fence. And so I was like, well, okay, this fence was an older barbed wire fence. And I said, okay, look, did they actually take it down? Are you certain that they were over our property line? And he says, well, I'm not really sure. So I cut my chores short and went down there to take a look and see, what Vinny was talking about. So anyways, they didn't actually take the fence down. There were some trees that had fallen on it, but not a huge deal. It's an older fence, not a big deal. But there was actually a portion where they had come over the property line with some of their heavy equipment and made some pretty large ruts. They had hit a couple of small trees and kind of bent them over. And so, not a huge deal, but I just wanted to make sure that we stayed on our side, that they stayed on their side of the property, because the last thing that I want is for them to take down some of our beautiful, massive trees. We have a beautiful, massive oak tree down there, that Nate has carved our initials in, and just kind of things like that. So I went ahead and I contacted the county just to find out who I should get in contact with to talk to about it. And they quickly informed me that this property had been annexed into the city. Okay, so now it's within city limits, because the developer wanted to ensure that the properties could get city sewer and city water. So I got in touch with the city and I left a message for this guy, and lo and behold, literally 30 minutes later, I have this car in my driveway, and it's the guy from the city. So I told him, hey, look, you really didn't have to come out here. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to disturb your day. I just, wanted to get a little information. Anyways, he said, it's not a big deal. Really nice guy. So we went down to the property. We looked at the lines. We talked about maybe getting a silt fence for erosion control once they start taking the stumps out and things like that. So anyways, he understood my concerns, and I totally understand that this is a development. I don't own this land, and, they're going to do what they're going to do. But what was very interesting to me was the information that this gentleman gave me about this particular development. So I want to preface this by saying that when I first started doing YouTube videos, I was sent a video by one of my commenters, by somebody who viewed one of my videos. And so I go ahead and clicked the link and I watched the video. And I didn't really think anything of it until now. Now it started to make sense. And I'll tell you what the video was about. It was filmed probably back in the 60s, and it was a television interview, and there was a guy, and he was explaining something about these 15-minute cities. And he was explaining to the interviewer how there's basically a city center that has every service that you might need. And then you have residential homes really packed in tight around the center of the city. And so everybody that lives in that little node or that little hub can get to whatever they need within 15 minutes. So the grocery store, your job, medical care, your barber, all that kind of stuff. Okay, and so I watched that video and I didn't think much of it. I kind of thought, hey, that's kind of cool. It's kind of like Jetson-y, the way that they had sort of, planned these homes out and a few of the features and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, I just kind of watched it and let it go. But when the city guy was telling me about this particular development back here, he told me that basically what they do is they come in, they log it all, okay? They get the land graded, and then they go ahead and they get a home builder to come in and build these homes. And he told me that there was perhaps 2 different home builders that may be the ones that decided to build there. And I'm familiar with those builders, and I had told him that, hey, look, I've actually seen some of their properties, and they're actually building them on half-acre lots in these other communities. So maybe they'll put the houses on half-acre lots, and, it won't be as bad as maybe what Nate thought it was going to be. So anyways, he tells me, oh, no. The zoning for this development is actually allows the builder to build on, okay, ready, brace yourselves, 4,000 square foot lots. I mean, that is absolutely crazy. When Nate and I lived in Arizona, our lot was 7,500 square feet. I mean, I literally had enough room between my wall of my property and my house to get a trash barrel through. I mean, 4,000 square feet is unheard of. So to put maybe a 2,000 or 2,500 square foot footprint of a home on a 4,000 square foot lot, it is so tiny. And what the city guy said to me was, a lot of people in this coming generation, they don't want to take care of lawns. They don't want maintenance. They don't want to have any of that type of responsibility. So perhaps that is what the developers and the home builders are going for. Okay, well, maybe so. But then I start thinking, okay, so they're building on 100 acres back here, and they're going to cram these houses in here. They're also building 800 houses up the road. And then next to this 100-acre lot behind me, they also have another lot that's a little bit smaller, but they're building on that as well. So I'm thinking to myself, man, who's going to buy these houses, right? New home construction is up over 21%. So why are all these builders building when we are in an economic downturn? I mean, unemployment is 250,000 new jobless claims every week. That's 1 million people losing their job every month. We're all hearing about massive layoffs. You have foreclosure rates from last month to this month increasing 7%, but they're up 14% from the year before. Inflation is through the roof. The grocery store is very expensive. Everything's very expensive. Vinny wanted me to buy him some canned cherry pie filling, and I went to pick it up, and it was $5 a can. And I thought, man, I can can it for cheaper than that, and cherries are expensive. But anyways, that's besides the point. So what I found out, and I found this out actually on another YouTube video, and it kind of makes sense if this is actually what's going on, is you have these large funds, and they're purchasing something like 500 homes at a time from these home builders. So the home builders are building these very low-cost, inexpensive houses, cramming them onto these tiny little lots, and then they're selling them to these huge funds, which then go ahead and turn around and rent them out to people, okay? So these homes aren't going to be sold to individuals. They're going to be rented by large corporate businesses. And so what are we doing here? If you're going to be moving into that property, there's no room for a garden. I mean, you may have like a 4x8 plot of grass, but that's really about it. So you're not going to be able to grow any of your own food. You're also not going to be raising livestock because, I mean, come on, this is zoned residential. There's no agricultural zoning on 4,000 square feet. And where would you even raise a pig or a cow or really any type of animal for that matter? So what have we done? We have really limited people in providing for themselves, okay? And if you want to control a population, how do you do it? You do it by controlling their food source. When you want people to come into submission to you, to agree to your terms, if you cut off one of the most basic needs of our survival, then we will come into submission and we will do whatever you say. And it's been done in history time and time again. Even the United States government has done it. I mean, when you look at when we massacred hundreds of thousands of bison to bring the Native Americans into submission to what we wanted, what did it do? It did exactly that. They waited in lines for boxes of food from the United States government when their food supply was eliminated. So, I don't know, guys. It's just some food for thought. Are you guys seeing developments go up where you are? Am I just totally going down the road of conspiracy theory? Or, I don't know, maybe I'm onto something. What do you guys think? Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. But I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and hopefully I have given you some things to think about.